How's everyone doing? I hope your search in becoming the superstar flight attendant is going well. I hope your interview process is advancing. I hope I've heard some of you got some CJOs. Yay to you guys, and the ones that didn't, please don't give up. We've all been there, so don't worry, your time will come. Now with this said, let's get right into it. I want to talk to you guys about what happens in training. I remember browsing videos after videos on YouTube, not finding any information. And nobody prepared me for anything prior to, so I basically went in blindly. We've had people from other airlines that kind of knew what to expect. I was this new person with brand new, fresh, virgin eyes, walked in training, not knowing what to expect, and everything was so new to me. Now, I made a list of all the things, woohoo, I know it's long, but we're gonna try to make it brief, hopefully within 30 minutes if I can squeeze everything in. I'm gonna try not to go too fast so you guys can absorb everything. Feel free to, kind of go back to this video, rewind it, forward it, go through some things just to refresh your memory prior to training. I know it's gonna help you, because I know if I would have known everything that I'm gonna tell you, I would have been ready to be a flight attendant, and I would have been ready to, for training. But I never got any of this information. And with that said, let's get into it. All right, so training, you guys, clothes. They will send you a packet and it will tell you what to buy, what not to buy. Now, in this packet, they will go through, the measurements of your suitcase, the color of your outfit during training. They're gonna go through what you need as far as binders, pens that are allowed or not allowed. I remember ours, I believe we weren't allowed to have pencil or any pen that could be erased. Because remember how they kind of sell those pens that could be erasable pens? There's a lot of them in the market. So those things we couldn't get. They also talked about watches, the watch that we can use and we cannot use. So how about shoes? I mean, they go through everything in the packet. Make sure you read that packet very, very attentively. You don't want to get to training and not have the proper outfit. It does not reflect good on you. One, it looks like you're not professional. Two, it looks like you can't read. And three, you can't take directions, and they really look for that. They want to make sure that you can take directions well. They want to know if they hire you, that if there's just a little pamphlet and little rules, that you are able to obey them to the T. Now, with this said, I want to give you a little trick. When I receive the packet, it's basically like an e-packet, so you get an attachment and an email. So you have two choices. You could either read them online, you can kind of refer to your email, or you can print them out. Now, printing them out does kind of cost in ink. I don't know about you guys, but I know that if you have about like 50, 60 pages and you start printing them at home, ink costs a lot of money. So what I suggest is to go to a Kinko or a FedEx office or even a Staples. Go there, ask them to print out, ask them if you can access your email, print out that attachment, you guys. And once you do, ask them to attach it together, not just with the stapler. You want it to look professional. Now, with that said, I will show you what I did, which looked so good. All right, I'll open the binder here because I have my whole binder. So what I did, you guys, I asked to have a black plastic cover behind my pages, and I asked to also put a protection cover on the top. Just so that, because I'm going to be referring to this book a lot throughout training, I wanted something solid enough so that I wouldn't get to training with all the pages kind of ruined and bended. So I asked them to add a spiral. This didn't come cheap. I want to say around $20. I got this done with taxes and all. It's not cheap, okay, but it is an investment because you're going to be needing this before training because you're studying it, during training because you're kind of referring to it, and after training. So that is a good investment, you guys. So again, the plastic cover with the dark plastic cover at the end, so you're covering on both ends. And I love the spiral look. I also asked for a 3 binder, you know, like the binder holes here. I'm sorry, my English is not the best. You know, I'm French, right? So English is my 3rd language. French, Italian, and English. So English is actually my 3rd language. So if you hear me speak words that don't make sense, it's because it is not my language. Anyways, with that said, I still have good tips though to share with you guys. Anyways, make sure you get this done, guys. It looks professional. I remember coming into class and people next to me were like, whoa, what? You got this done? That looks amazing. And you know what? It just kind of reflects really well on you, and it looks like you're a pro, and I love the look of it, okay? Because you're gonna be referring to this little booklet. And it's really easy to put in your binder so you don't lose it. So instead of having like, if you wouldn't have the holes, it would be loose in your binder and it would probably keep on coming out. So I liked it that I can actually put it in my binder. So make sure it fits, bring your binder with you, test it out. If the holes are not good, maybe they can adjust it or reprint it for you, because I know it was a little hard at the beginning to get it done. I had to kind of, you know, I don't know if you can see here, it just kind of like looks like they have to re-punch it again, but yeah, make sure you get that done. Secondly, before training, get yourself a little, let me get that as well. Gosh, you guys, I have so much to tell you, it's not even funny. I've been like working on it all week. Okay, so this little pouch, lifesaver. I have everything that I needed in here, everything. I have my highlighter, very important. Highlighter, pen, pencils. I know you're not allowed pencils, but I use them only in my room. I never brought them to training because it wasn't allowed, but I did bring it and I did use it in my room. And then I have this little tiny eraser. Now you're gonna ask me, why did she bring a tiny little eraser? Anyway, so it has a little window so I could see what I'm getting, and it also has the 3 binder holes, which was really, really easy to attach to my binder as so. So it was awesome. I would just like literally in training, this was me. I would open, I would have my pens and pencils that were needed, and I would have all my documentation with my flight attendant book. You guys, success is all about organization. Be organized. Know where stuff is. Just don't start looking for things and people are already ahead, and let's say they wanted you to turn to page 15 of a certain homework and you're still kind of looking through your stuff. Be organized. Know where everything is. The more that you have that facility to get to things, the more professional it looks, the more confident you are, and the less, you know, you don't feel as I'm behind and I can't catch up with everybody else because I'm just still looking for whatever it is that they were looking for. So you always want to be a step ahead. With that said, eraser. Now, why would I have an eraser? Does that even make sense? It does. Okay, so you guys, this is something else I've invested in, which I thought was amazing. All right, so in the booklet that they give you, they will give you all the material that you need to study. Part of the material you need to study are the schematics. Now, schematics is a layout of a plane or planes. In this case, we have 4, and I'll just kind of give you an overview of what schematic looks like. This is a schematic of a plane, okay? I can't show it to you because it's confidential, but it's basically a layout of a plane, as you can see, and with explanation as to what's in a plane. Now, every plane is different for every airline. Some people have Airbuses, other people have Embraers. They all have different airlines. Now, our airline thankfully only has Airbuses, so we didn't have to study all the other ones. Now, with that said, I had a copy made. So a copy made together to make this booklet, and I also had individual pages. Now, those pages I put in here, okay? Now, I'm gonna kind of quickly show them to you, but I'm not supposed to, all right? So you see that. And the plane would show on this side, okay? And I would have empty slots, which I would liquid paper it. So I would, you know, put liquid paper on all the answers, and then I would photocopy that, and I would put that in there. Now, I would grab my pen, my erasable pen, and I would just kind of put the answers on there, all right, one at a time, bum, 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 bum. if I would get something wrong, I would erase it and I would start it over. Now, I did that prior to training over and over and over again, and you guys, you don't understand how much of a lifesaver that was. This and a huge board. I had a huge board about the size of, like, literally, it was humongous. I bought it at Staples, bought a huge board, drew all the planes, and try to compare them side by side, which helped me a lot because I'm very visual. Like, you can tell me something 5 times, it won't register until I see it, especially when it comes to planes and little things you need to know about what's inside, you know, how many oxygen we have and whatnot. When I'm able to compare them side by side, it helped me visually to understand the comparison and what they are. So what I also did was I cut off the planes, okay? So I kept the part of the plane, and I cut off the 4 planes that we needed to learn, and I put them together. I glued them on a piece of paper, and I photocopied those, which I got this. Now, remember, I did this on my own, okay? Nobody told me to do this, and I didn't see any videos about this. This is the way that I learn best, and that's what helped me get me through training. Again, I had my 4 planes, okay, you guys? I know it's fast, I just can't show you all this stuff, unfortunately. I don't want to get in trouble and lose my job. So once you have all the planes aligned, you photocopy them together. So now you have a sheet of paper with all your planes, okay? Write down what kind of planes they are. They could be Airbus's 319, 320, 321, etc. Write them, put them, slip them in your little casing here, which is called a teacher's toolbox, ABC. I will put the link below. They have helped me so much. I mean, I think it comes at a pack of 10, and you have different colors. You got the yellows, you got the, I think red, we got green. My kids use it all the time because I homeschool them, and we use them all the time. It's so easy instead of using sheets of paper, which come so expensive, and you know, let's save the environment, you guys. Anyways, get these. There's a little opening right here. Put the sheet in. You can use this side or that side. They're both erasable plastics, as you can see. And I would just practice my head off. I'm no kidding. I would put the sheet in, put it in, and also, you know, start and be like, okay, so I'm seeing the 4 planes right now. Now, what do they have in common? What don't they have in common? I would compare them, and I would erase if I wouldn't get it right, and then do it over and over and over and over and over again until it clicked, you guys. And it took me, I want to say about 3 weeks. I know it's a long time, and I did it every single day because there was so much to learn per plane. And then you've got 4 planes, so it just kind of gets a little complicated. But you know what? With repetition, any human being in this world can memorize things with repetition. Keep repeating, keep seeing that. Wake up in the morning. My board was there. First thing in the morning, the board was staring at me. I'd go to bed, the board is staring at me. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and just kind of open my phone, and I'd check out the board and be like, oh yeah, what was it again for the 320? I'm forgetting. Oh, that's what it was. You know, repetition. Within 3 weeks, I knew them like this on the tip of my hand. Tip of my fingers. There you go. So I'm really happy we covered the, what are they called again? The Teacher's Toolbox ABC. Now look it up online. I will leave a link. I did get them on Amazon. They are awesome because it came with pens as well. And it came with different colored pen, and some of them, actually, did it come with pen? Or did I buy them? I want to say I bought them or it came with them. Either way, if it did come with them, I remember that the top, the lid had a little eraser at the bottom, which was really cute because you can use it. And I also know that I've taken the very fine point. Oh, that's right. So it did come with, okay, so it came with the pen. I remember that. And then I purchased separately the fine point because sometimes the pen write really thick and the planes, the schematics are really small, so it's hard to put everything in it. So I had to go online and spend a lot of money for the fine point erasable markers. So yeah, that's what I did exactly. I just remembered. Okay, now let's go with highlighter, you guys. Highlighter, very, very important. Highlighter and sorry you guys, I'm looking for my stuff here. Where did I put it? Okay, I didn't bring it. Okay, I thought I did. Oh, there they are. All right. What are they called? Cue cards? Cue cards. Make sure you bring cue cards in as many as you can. I've used so many, and let me show you, if you guys don't believe me. After 4 weeks of training, this is how many cue cards I have used. And I kid you not, there's got to be at least 400, if not more, 400 to 800, because I've used at least 8 packets of these. Now, Call me crazy. Again, I'm visual, whatever works for me. I don't really care what people think. I just wanted to pass that damn exam, and I basically did it on my own. I mean, I've had people helping me, and I've helped people, but at the end of the day, you're in your room studying, cramming, your brain does the work. No matter how much work you're getting or how much help you're getting, at the end of the day, you're by yourself, and you got to do what works for you. So what I would do, as I'm reading my documentation, I would put the definition on this side, actually the name of whatever I needed to learn, and the definition in the back. So I would go through them and I would read it and I would be like, oh my gosh, what does that mean? Oh yeah, and then I would kind of read the definition, or vice versa. I would read the definition and be like, what was that again? Oh yeah, it is that. So again, these are all abbreviations that you need to learn in your packet, you guys. So the packet that I showed you with the spiral, in there, they'll have abbreviation that you need to learn. In there, you'll have CD codes. In there, you'll have the schematics. All of that stuff you need to study before you get into training. If you don't know that stuff prior to training, you're basically digging yourself a hole, because a lot of people that did not know this stuff had to learn it from day one, and the stress was on, because you have stress of like doing homework every night, you have stress of learning drills. So now if you get that done and it's out of the way, now you won't have the drills to learn, because you know this stuff, you've practiced it for 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't know how long in advance do they give you the packet? I know I was lucky to get the packet at least a month prior to. Some people are not that lucky, but if you are, take the time. And even if you're not, take the day to do so. If you have to take days off from your job, do it, it's worth it. If this is your life and if this is what you want to do with your life, make it work, okay? Because it is worth it. It is a lifetime investment, whether financially or time-wise, okay? So again, invest in these. Now, you're gonna laugh if I tell you where I got these. At the dollar store. Yes, I did. They were $1 each, and I bought 8 of them. Brought them with me. Didn't think I was gonna use that many. I actually did, because not only did I use them prior to training, but I used them during training, because obviously they give you new material to learn. So every time I would learn stuff prior to my exam, you know, I would use my cue cards. Now, with that said, highlighter helped me a whole bunch, because I'd be reading through my notes. So you're taking notes in class, right? So I'll give you an example of how my notes would look like. Okay, so this would be me, let's say. So you start, I don't know, I don't want to give you all the information again, but you can see here what was important. I would underline in yellow, and then I would keep on writing. And then if I knew that this was going to be in a test, because they either mentioned in class, hey, make sure you know that, or hey, be careful because you might see that in the exam, or hey, this is really important, pay attention. Whenever they would mention something like that, I would underline it in pink. So I knew that when I got home, these would be on my cue cards. Okay, you guys? So if they said, hey, like, we're gonna be talking about this part of the plane, so make sure you pay attention because it might be in your exam at the end of the week. So guess what I did? Obviously, I did a big, huge star, and I put test, and I underlined it, and then I put all the stuff that they said may be important, and I put that on my cue card. Okay, so when it came time to study, I would just go through the cue cards, and that helped me so much, you guys. Like, I filled 2 of these books full, like, I mean full. And then it's funny because I never even referred to them anymore afterwards, because all my cue cards basically summarized everything I needed to learn. So it was so much easier to just kind of go through those as opposed to rereading my book. So keep that in mind. Bring your highlighter, different colors. I had pink, blue, yellow, green, orange. You're allowed to have them. So hey, I brought every color, and in class I would underline them right away. So I knew what to, write on my cue cards. All right, so with that said, now let's get to training, you guys. So you're new, you don't know what to expect, you're flown the day before, you might see people that are gonna be in your training that are coming from the same town or country or state or whatnot, and you'll recognize them because they're probably dressed the way that the airline wanted you to. Maybe it's black, maybe it's a trench coat, maybe they have a particular way of asking you to behave and dress, because they're very strict with all of that. I did recognize a few people. They recognized me too, because we had a group chat prior to, so we did kind of say that we were going to meet at that time, and we were kind of keeping in contact the day before. So they knew that I was in Chicago. They knew that I was waiting for the flight. So when they did show up for their flight, they saw me and recognized me, and were like, hey, what's up? We got the training the day before. got to meet our roommate, very fun. You know, you get acquainted because you know you're going to be together during this journey, and this person will become your best friend or your worst enemy. Everybody's different. And with that said, that goes to my next point. Roommates, you guys. Okay, I love your roomie. I love my roomie. She was the best roomie in the world. You know, don't get me wrong, drama will exist. There was so much drama in my class. It was insane. Every day that I talked to people from my class, they were either wanting to transfer, wanted to leave. I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't easy to have a roommate. We had some adjusting to do, and if she's watching this, she's probably gonna remember her cycle, her daily cycle was living at night, and mine was sleeping at night. So I would go to bed at around 10, and I would force myself to go to bed at 10 so that I can get up at 5 in the morning. She would be in bed by the time we get back from training and would wake up at around midnight and get up at 5 a.m. So while she was up, I'm sleeping, and our room is very small. I'm sure if you've seen videos of our training, 2 beds and that's about it. The only thing that separates us is a bathroom wall. So she would eventually kind of move all of her material, reading material or loud material per se, into the bathroom so I wouldn't hear her. But she was in a habit of speaking her words, and her, you know, the way that she would memorize was to speak it out loud. Now, you know, to each its own, it's fine if that's the way you learn, but when it is 2 o'clock in the morning and you're speaking your words out loud, that got very annoying. So, I kid you not when I tell you that for about a week or two, I just didn't want any confrontation, and I didn't want to make things awkward, so I let it be. And I lost a lot of sleep over it until the time of the month came and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I was like, you know what, I love you to death. She as a person is amazing. She's a sweetheart. We still keep in touch till this day. But it just got so much. It got too much. The pressure of the training and everything, you know, and everything else. With that said, I had to tell her. I got really aggravated, and I told her, and she understood. And she actually took her studies downstairs to the hotel. She was nice enough to do that for me, and then that's when it started working out. But it was only until the end that I did kind of say something. Now, my advice to you is if there is a problem, don't be shy. Speak up. I didn't want to speak up because I didn't want to cause problems. I didn't want to cause some awkwardness, and if she didn't want to go downstairs or didn't want to leave the room, we would have been butting heads for the entire training. So I kind of kept it till the end. So if we weren't going to get along, it would have been closer to the end. Now, she's so sweet. She understood and took her studies, or loud studies, downstairs. But with that said, you know, she was a very loud snorer as well. I'm sure you've seen some videos as well. So it is, just expect that. Don't think, because I thought going into this, I'm gonna have the best roommate. I mean, come on, you know, she seems really nice because we had spoken prior to. I found her on Facebook when they gave me the name of the person that I was gonna be rooming with. I found her in our group chat, and it was really nice to talk to her. She was a nice person. When I met her in person, we were like high-fiving. We got along so well. But you know, our personality never clashed, but it's our way of living that did clash. So the fact that she took her studies downstairs and was as loud as she could be, maybe by the pool or wherever she ended up being every night, that worked for her, and it worked for me that she kind of let me sleep. But for about a week or two there, it was very painful. I kid you not. It was every night I'd be like, I can't sleep with earbuds or earphones because then they bother me. I can't sleep on the side. I never sleep with them anyways, so this is not something I was gonna start doing just because. And then, I don't know, it just got really, really annoying. So anyways, that worked out, but just expect that, you guys. Even if you meet your roommate and she's amazing, you still have to work with her. So if you don't have good communication skills, put that into consideration. You will have to talk to your roommate regardless of what happens, and sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, like I said, because you are living under the same roof. Okay, I've heard of a lot of horror stories within our training of a girl that got her stuff stolen, unfortunately, and yeah, got her stuff stolen. The other person got violent with this other person, and then they all requested a change. A lot of these girls went to our coach, or our instructor, and asked them to switch rooms, and we were told, if you can't work it out among you two, how is it going to be when you're up there 40,000 feet and there's no one to monitor you, how are you going to do it? Now, I understand their point of view. I understand when you bring that situation up to an instructor, why they would answer that way, because they want to make sure you're responsible and you know how to work out problems. Now, I always felt that was a little different because, hey, we're not really living and sleeping with them up there. We're working with them, and of course we can make it work. But when it comes to like being with someone day in and day out, and they don't respect you in a sense, because you need your sleep, for example, or because, hey, that's your private property, why are you stealing from me? It's something else. But in their mind, our instructor's mind, you needed to prove to them that you can resolve this on your own. So if you would go to them and tell them the problem, they would respond by figure it out, work it out. So that's pretty frustrating, because I've spoken to some of my roommates, not roommates, but some of my coworkers, and those are the answers that they were given. So it is what it is, you guys. That's probably what you're gonna get as well from your training, or maybe not, I don't know, but they don't like it when you bring it to their attention. They get aggravated because they already have a little target on you, and they're like, okay, so this person can't work stuff out. So you already have a spot that is shining on your head to start off with. So what I suggest is either you smile through this training because you know it's gonna be over within 4 weeks or 8 weeks, depending if you're with like Legacy Airline, but either way, make it work, you guys, do your best to make it work. Anyhow, with that said, do they pay for training? Okay, so the first day you walk in, they come pick you up. Let me rewind. Okay, so you meet your roommate, I've talked about that. You are told to be downstairs at a certain time, and I want to say our time was 7, if I'm not mistaken, between 7 and 7:30. So we wake up early, take a shower, get ready, get our bags ready, put all of our information, our binder, anything you needed in there. And we have a van waiting for us downstairs. So we meet at the van, and it's a little awkward at the beginning. We're kind of still introducing everybody to everyone, and we're introducing ourselves. The van would take about 15 to 25 minutes to get to training. That van was either always late or always early, or we had different drivers. Some drivers wouldn't show, so it was a little bit of a challenge at the beginning, but we finally got it right. We got the right driver from the end. We get to training, we take the elevator up. Basically, we get in class. There's usually no one because they're actually in their own individual room because they start earlier, the instructors. So they're in their room waiting for us to be in, and you got to sign in. So make sure you sign in your name with your ID number, but they will give you that like after day 2 or day 3. Now, when you walk in the classroom, you'll see something similar to this. Okay, so it's going to be on the desk, and I'll try to post a picture up above here if you haven't seen my picture on my graduation. It's basically a classroom with long desks, and you're sharing your long desk with all your peers. And so you'll see your name, look for your name, and go sit where your name is at. Now, the first day they had computers, which they removed a few days later, so I'm not sure, we never got to use them, but it was for another training, I believe for TSA or some other thing. So you're sitting there, they introduce themselves, they talk to you, we have speakers, it's really relaxed. We got to draw as a group just to see how you mingle with other people. They are watching you, so you interact with everyone, and then you have a break, so to speak. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about, break. Okay, so break time. Break can be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's all depending on your instructor, and they will tell you. So they will look at their watch and be like, all right, you guys can break, I'll give you 10 minutes. If they give you 10 minutes, don't take 20. If they give you 10 minutes, don't take 11 minutes. If they give you 10 minutes, don't take like freaking 35 minutes. If they give you 10 minutes, come back within the 10. Actually, don't come back 5 minutes later. I was always the early one. I would run and get my snack, and I would always be scared of being late. So I would always like kind of run back and try to eat my snack in the classroom. Now I am saying this because some people were released from class because they were late from their break. Yes. And some people were notified, and I think once you get notification, I think it's like 1 or 2, I know they're not called notification, I'm not remembering what they're called, but once you get 2 or 3 of these strikes, basically you're gone. Doesn't matter what you do afterwards. If you get 3 of the same strike, you're gone, and if you get 3 of different strikes, you're still, I believe, gone. So I think we've lost 2 or 3 people One, because they failed their schematics, so make sure you know your material, very important. Don't wait till till the end for that. Second of all, sorry, it's really hot in here. So first of all, know your material before you go in. Second of all, when they give you a break, go in early, okay? Don't check your watch and be like, oh, I have plenty of time, let me like chat away. Who cares? Just go back. Because if you are 1 or 2 minutes late, they might not say anything on the first day or second or third, but they're watching you and they kind of like remember that you are late. And trust me, they'll X you out within a few days. They'll remember who you are. And like I said, they're always watching. It's just like your interview. You're still being interviewed and they will remind you of that. They'll be like, you're still interviewing right now. If you think that because you're here, you got the job, you don't got the job. And they are right. So always, always, always be early. Okay, so if your lunch is an hour or 45 minutes, because sometimes we had drills and they didn't have the chance to give us an hour. So they'd give us 30 minutes. So we had to like run and get lunch and come back. And sometimes you just didn't have time. There's days that I didn't eat, and I kid you guys not. So get ready for that. Now, as far as eating in class, okay, so they were okay with us snacking, very light snacks, and then they had trouble with ants. So they canceled the whole snacking thing. So no more eating in class is what they told us, except for bananas. So the only thing we were allowed are bananas or little candies, but nothing else, like no muffins, no cheese sticks, nothing that could actually cause more ant-ish situation. Now, again, you guys can have a different training. You guys can have different requests. Our teacher changed our rules on us, and it went from no problem snacking to you cannot have snacks in the classroom. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, everybody cheated. I could see them kind of snacking, just like, grabbing a bar because they were hungry, and sometimes they wouldn't let us go for snacks. Sometimes we had no break all the way up to lunch. So you're looking at the entire, we're like tired, but there's a speaker and there's someone else, or they forgot. And we were not one to, lift our hands and be like, can we go eat, please? Because, you got to keep your smile and your wits about you, even though you're starving. So we would either hide our faces and kind of take a bite of whatever it is that we had, which I am guilty of, sorry. Or we would ask to go to the bathroom. They would let us, even if it wasn't break time, we were allowed to break for, a bathroom break, to just kind of run and come back. And when somebody would be coming back, then the other person can go. So that we were allowed to do. So a lot of those little bathroom breaks, I would eat something because they wouldn't let us go eat. So that's about it. And then our lunch, where we had a cafeteria, which was next door, which you can purchase your food for a lot of money, but you can purchase your food every day. And I wasn't crazy. I mean, the food was okay. There's some days that I just wasn't crazy about the food, and some days that, you had more cold choices, like salads and things that are easier to eat and faster to eat. So you have to kind of go accordingly. If you have 30 minutes, not time to go eat a big sloppy Joe, you know what I mean? So you don't have time to eat that. Then I'd run back to class, and I was always on time. I've never had a strike against me. I was always the good student, and I listened, okay? So that's all. I just wanted to get through this training. All right, so with that said, what do they give you? So on the day one, they'll give you a card, and I've kept it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm either gonna pause this and go get it, or show a little video of me holding the card. So they give you a little gift card. It's blue, and it's got a stripe, and it's got your name on it. Okay, and then this is for about $625. Now, they didn't give it to us the first day. I think they gave it to us the second or third day. So I remember the first few days I had to pay for my lunch and my snacks, which kind of sucked. But now 625 days. Okay, guys, pay attention to this because a lot of people didn't and basically got screwed at the end of training. So it's $625 worth of a card, a gift card. Okay, what do they call it? The care card. There you go. So they called it the care card. It was of a $625 value for 4 to 5 weeks. And I say 5 weeks because some people have their OE kind of like right after training, and sometimes they might have needed the card. Now listen carefully. You can spend up to $50 a day. But if you do that, it'll chunk at the $625. But you do have a limit of $25 a day that you can use easily with no problem. Now, with that said, I was never able to use the $50. I've tried in different restaurants. I've tried other places. It wouldn't allow me to go over $25, okay? So just keep that in mind. That could happen to you too. Now, if one day you decide, hey, how about I don't spend that money for about a month, and then I could pay all my credit cards because it's worth $625. You can't do that. You have to spend your $25 or else you lose it that day. Are you listening, you guys? If you don't spend the $25, you will lose it. Now, everybody thought like me, hey, we'll keep it, and then at the end, we'll have $600 to go on a shopping spree, and we could just kind of buy cheap stuff throughout the training. Because a lot of people did that, and guess what happened? At the end of that month, they went to use it, and it was shut down. And they were like, hey, I have $600. And there was a way for you to check your balance. I never did, because I didn't want to know. I just knew that I was spending about $25 a day, whether it was in water bottles in my room, from room service, to like, you know, any little things that I needed. And every time I used it after my $25, it would say decline. So, well, you do have $25 a day, and I used it every day, you guys. So I know a lot of my friends used it. I know the last week we were talking and they were like, oh, I'm still holding on to my card, because they would be paying with their credit card. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're holding on to our money, and it didn't work that way. And they were so mad. So they started spending a lot. You know, they would spend $50 here, $50 there. Hey, let's go to dinner and spend $50. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, but they kind of got screwed that way. So definitely what I suggest is to take your time with it, buy what you need. I know that my snack would probably run me about $5 at the training center, because you can get cheese sticks, you can get a muffin, you can get a banana, you could have gotten a yogurt. There's things you can buy in the little fridge from training. And that would already be like $5 to $10, and I would be left with 15, which would be my lunch. So oftentimes my 25 would be gone, or I'd have a little bit left over for my dinner, which I would order out. And so, yeah, so whatever balance was, I had to put the difference on my credit card. So you still need money, you guys. You know, even though you do get $25 a day, 25 is not a lot, okay? Especially if you're eating 3 times a day. What helped me a lot is my shake. I would make a shake every single morning. So shakes are really important. I mean, they're full of vitamins, they give you energy, they give me what I needed, and they held me over until lunch. I would still have snacks sometimes because I'd get hungry and bored, and I eat when I'm bored, which is why I gained so much weight. I mean, I've been losing a little bit now, so I feel better, but so very important. Keep that in mind. You do kind of need a little bit of your own money, unless you can eat, you know, within that budget of $25, then go for it. I made it work sometimes. You know, there's a place that I would eat at night that wasn't expensive, and we got discount coupons, anything you can get to get discounts, you know, nearby. Postmates, Grubhub were our best friends, I kid you not. Everybody would actually, so training is over, you go downstairs, you wait for the shuttle, usually the shuttle's waiting for you. Get in the shuttle, we're exhausted by then because it's 5:30 and we're like, because you've been up since like 5 a.m. And it's been a long day because they bombard you with information, or you've done drills, or you've done, you know, you're exhausted. Don't think that you're not. And the ride back, either people are sleeping on their phone, catching up with, you know, emails or whatnot, because you cannot use your phone. That's another thing, you guys. You cannot use your phone during training. I just remembered, no phones. We also had our phones confiscated. Is that how you say confiscated? They actually grabbed them, we had to turn them off and put them in a pocket behind the classroom. And the pockets were identified by student number. So if your pocket was empty, that means you didn't put your phone that morning, strike against you. It was super strict because some people just had their phone and they would turn on in the middle of a session. And the teachers would get aggravated and people wouldn't learn. So we got punished like little kids. So we would have to put our phones in our little pocket folder every day, and then we can take them during lunch, but oftentimes we can use them in the building. So it just wasn't worth it for me to just kind of get the phone unless there's an emergency and I knew, you know, I had to check up on my kids or whatnot. I mainly try not to use it, because then you have to remember to turn it completely off, then you got to remember to put it back in your pocket, and what if you don't? Then you get in trouble. So it was too much of a hassle for me. I just remembered it at night at the end of the class, and I would just grab it and put it in, you know, in my bag. And when I'm in the shuttle and outside of the building is when I would open it and check my emails on my way back. So anyways, you guys, so that is it. Then you'd get home, you're starving. So a lot of people would call Grubhub and order right away because the food wouldn't come for another hour. So if you're starving, which we all were because our lunch was like at 11:30 or 12, and it's already 5:30 and you're not even home yet. So by the time we get home, it's like 5:36. depending on when the shuttle shows up and if it's not late. So let's say you're home by 6, you have to wait an hour for your food, so that's already 7. And you don't feel like studying because you just got out of like class. But before you know it, it's night and you have to like cram all this stuff, and then the next day you have 2 or 3 exams. So it is very taxing, it is very stressful. So I say, you know, bring a lot of snacks that you can keep for a long time, bars that don't get bad. Keep them with you, bring those with you. What I did is when I did fly into Florida to do my training, I did go shopping and I stocked up my entire fridge. So I had fresh bananas, fruits, and we also for breakfast would go downstairs. Breakfast was included, so I forgot to tell you guys that. Breakfast is included, but you have to go at a certain time, obviously before the shuttle. So people would take some fruits and stuff and bring them to their room, which is what I did, so I could put my banana in my shake. Now you're more than welcome to wake up early and go and have breakfast with everyone else. I would never go downstairs. I would take that time to study and be peaceful in my room in the morning and have my shake in my room. That's how I did it every morning. Now a lot of people just met up for breakfast. I just was not the breakfast kind of people because they just chat and waste time. And they would chat for an hour, have coffee, and I just was like, I'm okay. I don't need to socialize. I just want to graduate and that's it. So, all right, so we got that done. Now during training, you want to wash your clothes, you guys? Oh my gosh, we're already at 40 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. You want to wash your clothes, you guys. So, I bought enough tops to get me through 4 weeks. So I had polo shirts, or probably about, I want to say like 7 or 8. I got them in Macy's. They were black polos, so you can wear yellow. There was different colors you can use. So I bought enough to change every couple of days. And then I bought enough pants to change for a couple of days. Underwears, I bought maybe 15 of those. And what I would do is I would bring my own soap and I would hand wash in the sink my clothes. Call it crazy, stupid, whatever it is, but I know a lot of people have problems with laundry. They would take Sunday for laundry day and waste time. They have to go get coins, and then the coins wouldn't work, the machine wouldn't work, then they have to go back for the dryer and the washer, and there was only one in the whole hotel. It was a pain in the butt. I didn't have the headache. I would just wash it, hang it, dry it, the next morning dry. That's it, you guys. So that's how I did that. And now they do give you a little computer. It's in this box here. I can't show it on the other side because you'll see my airline. But it looks something like that. Oops, I think you just saw it. Okay. Okay, so it just looks something like that. All right. Something like this. It's like a little computer that they give you, which is called an EFB. It's like an electronic device that you're going to be using on the plane, either to take orders or also to refer to in case you have a question. It is basically the golden diary or the golden dictionary of everything you need to know as a flight attendant. And per the rules of FAA, you need to have it in your possession at all times. Now, they will give you a loaner throughout training for you to practice on. So you can actually use it. They'll give you an employee number that you can use, and then you can practice. So every day when we refer to different paragraphs or different things that we need to study, they will ask you to take out your EFB. If you don't have your EFB, you're kicked out. You need to have it at all times because that will reflect how you're going to be when you're up in the air in the plane. If you don't have it in the plane, you can get fined, and I'm talking a huge thousands of dollar fines. And so my suggestion to you is to always have it charged every single night before you go to class. Now they will tell you this, that it's really important that you get this with you every day. So we had a system, my roommate and I. What we did is every night, as soon as we got in our hotel room, we would plug our EFB. Okay. Now we weren't given we were given a case, I think. Yeah, I think we were. So they give you a case with the plugs in it. We would plug them right away, and we would go to bed. Okay. And then in the morning, it was plugged, it was charged at 100%, and you go to class. Now the first thing they would do is check your attire. So you'd stand up and they'd check your attire, and they check to see if your EFB was at 100%. Now if it was below 90, you were in big time trouble. That means you didn't charge it properly, or you used it, and whatever it is, then you get in big time trouble and you get written up for that. The reason is they want you, when you're flying, they want you to have access to it because it's got all of everything you need to know. Your commands, in case of emergency, what to do. Basically, it's the holy grail of flight attendant. And this is the booklet that you need at all times with you. I call it the booklet, the electronic booklet that you need at all times with you. So they are training you in class to have it at full charge and to have it with you at all time. Now, if you don't, you can get in big time trouble. And that's the number one thing that they look for, that your attire is perfect. They don't really care about your hair as long as it's clean and neat. You know, it's not like this and you don't go to class like that. Because corporate does walk around and kind of will make comments to our instructor and be like, what's wrong with that person? Why is she like not up to par, you know? So they want to make sure that you're wearing what is requested of you for training, and that your EFB is with you at all times and it has the proper charge. So I never even knew about any of this. Coming into it, I've never heard of EFB. I've never heard that flight attendant needed that. I knew that back then it was this big dictionary that you needed to carry with you. I remember that, or hearing that. But now that they compacted it into a small device that looks like an iPad, they call it the EFB, which I want to say electronic something book. Electronic flight attendant book is what I think it stands for. But it has everything that you need, and you get fined big time by the FAA if you don't have it with you, because it is necessary and required and mandatory to have it with you at all time while you're working. And also, they do send you new information that you need to update on a daily basis, so you have to make sure that you update it as well, but you'll know more about it in training. But I just wanted to let you know, guys, because if you're new at this, you don't even know what that is, and you don't even know what I'm talking about, but they will give you one, and you'll practice on that loaner one for about a month, and a lot of our peers have problems with charging it. Sometimes they wouldn't charge, sometimes their cord wasn't good. So just bring it up to the attention of your instructor, and he'll change the cord or change the EFB that you're practicing on. And then once you graduate, you get your own. Day of graduation, we got our own with our name on it, with a new number on it, which is a number you kind of have to know, because you're gonna have to put it in when you do sign up and you do work, go for work. I mean, you are called to go to work. You got to put in your work number, employee number, and your EFB number as well. So that's all new to me, and I go, if you guys are new like I am, that's something I would have liked to know, because I never even heard of an EFB. Like, what's an EFB? What is that? Okay, now for I'm gonna check my little book because I'm scared I forget something. So snacks, clothes. Make sure you get discounts online, you guys, like Macy's. Sometimes you buy one t-shirt, you get another one for free, so look for that. Suitcase, I got my suitcase on eBay, and I was able to get both. The 22, and ours was I think up to 22 inches, so I got the 22 inches and it came with a tote for $130. So I got a really good deal on that. So check eBay, check Amazon, look online. Some flight attendants are getting rid of theirs, wanting to buy new ones, and sometimes they're not even as badly used as you would think. So if you don't have a lot of money, start out with that. Gift card, I did talk about the $625. And if you don't spend it, you lose it. That's right. Your tag with your name, when you come in class, look for your name, and they will switch that around, you guys. So don't get uncomfortable on your seat, because the next day you're like, where's my name? They'll switch it around, and that way you get to know new people. Because whenever you're sitting next to someone, you're there the whole day, so you get to know someone, right? So they mix them around. So just remember that. Invest in a binder. Make sure you get your little eraser. Great way to learn, you guys, so you don't waste a lot of paper. Get your cue cards, awesome and so helpful. Okay, so I put here earbuds. If you need earbuds, go get them. If you can sleep with earbuds, go get them. If you can sleep with these eye patches, go get those. I can't sleep with those, so that was not going to be an option for me. Air fryer. I know a lot of people that bought air fryer. I know that I didn't bring my smoothie machine, my NutriBullet, but I did buy it at Walmart on my way there. So I bought it there, and I ended up, I know this is going to sound really bad, but I returned it. After 3.5 or 4 weeks, I returned it because I have one here, but I just didn't want to carry it because it was so heavy. So I needed more room. Oh, talking about room, you guys, make sure you make room in your suitcase, because you will be buying your uniforms. Okay, I bought 2 uniforms, and there's mandatory stuff that you need to buy. and you're gonna have that space to bring it back home. So make sure that your suitcase is not too full so you can carry that back, or get an extra suitcase if you want, but you don't want to carry too many things with you. Thankfully, I had my husband come to my ceremony and he left with my suitcase. So I kept the one that I needed for work because I had to stay there. I was on reserve, and he went back home with my suitcase. But I had my huge winter coat that I bought. And at the time, obviously out of Florida, we don't need it unless you're flying to Chicago. But he went back home with that, and he went back home with my extra uniform that I had, and I had bought like a bunch of stuff. So make sure that you make space. Don't make your suitcase too full, okay? So that's another advice. So your roommate can be annoying. Love your roommate, but if she is, get ready. Don't drink and don't go out is what I wrote. You know what? You guys could do that at any time after training. Like seriously, you can party your ass off until you can't breathe anymore. And you're gonna have plenty of chances to do that. Don't mess it up. I mean, you don't want to come back drunk and be kicked out of the hotel, or the hotel will communicate with the instructor and let them know that you were drunk and you'll be kicked out of the program. It's not worth it, you guys. So save your drinking and your party days. You can go out for lunch with some friends. You can go out to dinner on your days off, whatever it is. You can go by the beach if you're in Florida, or go to a pub, but don't make it a late night. Go home early, make it an hour, have a drink, maybe 2 at the most. Not something that you want to get drunk or party or go out to a club until 5 a.m. You don't want to do that. It's not worth it, you guys. Stay fit and take vitamins. Yes, vitamins, you guys. Make sure you take your vitamins, okay? I took about 5 to 6 vitamins every single day, because the minute you get sick, it's miserable. They'll either kick you out because they'll see that you're too sick and you're going to get everybody else sick, or you can't continue because you're shivering and you have a fever and you're going to be sent home. And we don't know if you're going to get a second chance at this. So just stay healthy and stay fit prior to going. It's either be preventive, you know. Don't fall asleep in class. If you fall asleep in class, you're out. We had 2 people get out of our class. They were kicked out of our class because they fell asleep. And I kid you not. The minute you're like this, it's because 1, you don't go to bed early, and 2, I get it that it's boring, but try to stay up. Even if you have to put toothpick in your eyes. But don't fall asleep, you guys. It's really, really important, especially with this airline. I've been through the training. I've seen people, especially from the other class, they were kicked out because they fell asleep. So they're really, really important. If it means tweaking your schedule, going to bed earlier, drinking an energy drink, whatever it is, do what you got to do, but don't fall asleep no matter what. Sometimes the lessons are super, super boring. I know. Some of them were like, ugh. We had one time a speaker talking about the velocity of a plane, and we're like, we don't care. We don't know all the mechanics of it all. Like, we just want to know how to work it. But we had to listen to him for about 2 hours. It was the most boring thing. And yes, I almost fell asleep, but I didn't close my eyes. So try to sleep or practice your sleep with your eyes open. Bring your jacket. Yes, it's freezing cold. It is cold in the room. It is freezing, you guys. Every 2 minutes, I was putting my jacket on, then I take it off because I'm too hot, then I would put it back on. Bring a jacket. It has to be black in our case, so bring a decent jacket. You know, make sure it doesn't say all across Adidas or whatever. You know, have something classy, all black, and bring it with you. I brought mine. I had like a really nice quilted jacket. It was really pretty, and it looked like a, you know, like a uniform jacket. And I wore that almost every day, so that was a safe, you know, lifesaver. Watch. Make sure it's ticking. Don't bring your iWatch. You can work on board of a plane with your iWatch, but do not bring your iWatch to class. So you will get kicked out, okay? So bring an old-fashioned ticking one, or get one on eBay for $5. I found mine, by the way, because I know one of the videos I said my kid stole it from me or lost it, and I actually found it. So she found it, and she was so excited to give it to me. So it was really tiny, it was very discreet, but it was very by the rule, and it was, you know, what they wanted. Bathroom break, lunch break, keep an eye on the time. Take 5 instead of 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes instead of 15. Listen to what they say, and follow the crowd. If you see the mall starting to go up and you're eating outdoors, follow them, because that means you have to head back. All right. Always upload your EFB. Make sure it's always charged, even in class and even on your loaner one. Okay, so we went through that. Go to bed early, very important, and drink a lot of water, you guys. You will get dehydrated. Bring your water. They will give us a drinking cup when you first come in class. So you walk in, they'll give you little things, you know, to, you know, like a drinking class, and they'll give you your little care card. So they'll give you a few things at the beginning of class. Take that and use it. Drink water, you guys. Seriously, stay hydrated. Water is good. It flushes you. It helps with stress. It helps with your health. water, water, water. So we did it, yay! I was able to cover everything. 2 more things real quick. Shoes, I got my shoes at Clark's. They were $200. I know it's crazy, but they last 5 to 8 years, I hear. They are super flexible. They are super comfortable. I know you can get them cheaper, but a lot of people that have the cheaper ones start hurting their feet quickly. So invest in a good pair of shoes that can last you for a long time. And one last thing, I know. Nylons. I got these fancy. No, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just use those. I ordered these Manzies. They're amazing. I mean, they last forever. And remember, you want an extra pair in your bags because as you work, you will tear them. People will scratch them. Kids will, you know, who knows what can happen. But you, as you work, you might have to need to change them on a daily basis. So get a good pair to last you a long time. And lastly, I had one more thing. Yeah, I'm looking around. I had so many things to talk about. All right, so invest in a picture binder like this at the dollar store where you open and that's where you put pictures. And or you can purchase something like this, which is basically the table of content, the duties of the lead flight attendant, or the announcements, you guys, or the flight routine, okay? So I don't know which airline you work for. Some of them you have to memorize, but even if you memorize them, sometimes under pressure you can't remember them. So it's always good to have a little booklet with everything that you need. Basically, it's a summary of your EFB, but if you don't want to go through your big EFB in front of everyone, you can keep this in your pocket, okay? And you just kind of go through it. Let's say you have to make an announcement and say, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. You know, we're about to close the doors, blah, blah, blah. And you're not lead, but you are C, your flight attendant C, which is in charge of all the announcements in the back. You can kind of go back to your duty and say, okay, you know what's my announcement? Oh, there it is. And then you can kind of say it and put this back in your bag. So invest in a little booklet like that. If you guys are interested in one of these, let me know. I have someone that makes them and I can also make them for you. Here it is. It's really adorable. And again, it has to be only from my airline because your airline has different announcement and your airline has different lead duties for A. And so you want to make sure, oops, oh, there we go. You want to make sure that you get that handy with you, and it will help a lot because when you first start, everything is on paper, but you haven't really practiced physically or said anything. And so when you get there, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I say? It's very panicking when you first start out, especially after your OE. So, so make sure that you have that little booklet with you. And like I said, if you're interested, I have a friend that makes them, and I can make them for you as well. So with that said, I hope I have helped you guys because I know that if that video was out and it was made by someone else, I would have been so grateful to have listened to all the tips and tricks and I would have known what to expect. But I hope I have helped you guys through this. Please, please, please subscribe because I have so many new videos coming up. I have another one talking about OEs. And I have another one talking about my kids flying with me and their experience. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you that story. So thank you so much for listening, for subscribing, you guys. I'm up to like over, I want to say almost 200 subscribers, which I'm really, really excited. Keep subscribing. Tell your friends, forward this video to people that are training for my airline that don't know what to expect. Sometimes just sending them the link will help them. Click the bell. I'll update a bunch of videos on either my airline and other airlines, and also have another video on how to find jobs. I know a lot of people want to be a flight attendant, don't know where to start, don't know where to apply, and don't know when the jobs come up, and I'll tell you guys about that too. So make sure you subscribe, click the bell, subscribe, and I love you all. Thank you so much for listening and being patient. Bye.